Hello, everyone, and welcome here to Town Hall Heroes, episode number 97. I'm Solid Jake, and this week I am joined by the one and only Gillyweed, Kubus Maximus, and Lord Zoloff. Welcome, my friends.
He does get the title Lord very often.
It's true.
What's the deal with that? No one else is a Lord.
Gilly, it's been a while. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me back on. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, what's new?
Just getting ready for regionals is the big thing now. Lots of prepping and getting ready for that. There's always like going and getting my hair done. I had to get that done, make sure I'm all ready to go. But then also like studying and watching scrims when I can and getting ready for that. That's been my life this week.
Did you get 2 new crazy dresses that I have to name?
No.
Oh.
I did not get any new dresses to name.
Really?
I know. That's my new favorite part is when you give the dresses a name. We've got the Tron dress.
Well, all right. My therapist
got
says I should
the
count
Elvis
the time when I'm
dress.
angry. Okay. All right. I'll get through it. It's fine.
We'll work on that. We'll work on that for next time.
All right. Good.
Yeah.
Kubes, what's good in the land of Kubus?
They turned me into Cyclops this week.
Oh,
And
no.
by that I mean I got LASIK surgery, so no more glasses.
Yay! Congrats! It wasn't bad though, right? Because I've done it.
You did it?
Yeah.
What did you think of it?
2
I
Cyclopses?
thought it was. I thought it was
Two
easy.
Cyclopses? 2 Cyclops? It was quick. It was very quick. Very, very quick. Like
Yeah.
10 minutes long. So
And I
that-
passed out really easily with medical stuff, so I was
That's good.
fine. They just
Cool.
gave me some medicine, and I was like, okay, I'm
So
good to
that's
go.
so that's it. No more glasses. Donezo. So that was
Yay.
actually that took up a good chunk of my past week, I guess, because I had the surgery done like the day after Town Hall last week. Thursday and then Friday, I pretty much did nothing because I was pretty much recovering for the most part. Didn't go to work or anything. And then I've been playing a lot of Street Fighter because that game is dope. It's a lot of fun and very addicting. If you guys have played it, you know it's fun. But other than that, just chilling. Excited about this weekend. Going to see some good games. I hope. Players, please do not disappoint.
Zoloff.
Well, I, being the person who has the perfect human form, does not need LASIK because A, I have these really stylish glasses, and B, I am the perfect human form, so, I don't
that
have to
like-
go through those things.
Wait, so I need to go back to glasses? Because that's what
because you don't have the perfect human form.
Yeah, but
I have the perfect human form
you have glasses though.
because I look stylish.
Right, so I need to go back to glasses.
No, because you won't look stylish. You look like a nerd.
Ah!
Your glasses don't have a prescription in them?
They do?
They do?
The perfect human
Well,
form.
who's to say
They have a
that 0,
prescription
0?
for the perfect human form.
Who's to say that 0, 0 is actually the right one? And what
Exactly.
Jared's prescription is actually
Better.
what it should be.
Yeah, the perfect human form. I've just been studying a lot of heroes lately. A lot of Overwatch too. That game is super fun. I don't know, not too much to say.
Yeah, Overwatch is also quite addicting. I want to play it more, but then it's like it's just beta. They're gonna wipe everything at the end. But man, getting those boxes.
The boxes, dude. It's fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's my story. Town Hall Overwatch launched last week, so I've been going ham on Overwatch. I'm playing catch up. I'm still learning the scene a lot, so I'm really, really watching and playing that 90% of my free time right now. I did cast this weekend, all 3 days. I cast Enter the Storm, and that was actually really fun to cast all three of the Enter the Storm qualifiers. So that was really good too. So just got a good idea of exactly what to expect out of the teams this weekend, except for Cloud9 and Niantic, because I haven't really. I mean, they've been able to hide strats. We haven't seen them play in so long. It feels even Blaze and Cog and Tempo. I think there's a lot of room for them to surprise us as well. But we'll talk about.
Cloud9's played in a lot of the Enter the Storm qualifiers.
Yeah,
Played,
but they didn't really show anything new. They just played classic
That's
Cloud9.
what you think.
Well, we'll see. But
We'll see.
We'll
Just
see.
yeah, whatever, Jared. Whatever.
yeah, I shaved for the first time in over a year with an actual straight razor blade. I haven't done an actual clean shave in over a year. I've used an electric razor, and I've gone down low with it, but
Baby's first razor.
But I haven't used a normal straight razor in over a year, and I actually absolutely just obliterated the side of my face. Just GG, man.
Why did you do that?
I don't
Why
know.
did you do that?
It feels bad.
Learn to shave.
Straight
yeah.
razors are just supposed to be like they cut your face less.
Yeah.
Well,
I've never actually cut
Sharp.
myself like that way.
Because it's
Ever.
sharper.
Why is Gilly making faces?
The idea, I'm so glad that I
Zoom
don't
in on your
have
face,
to
Jake.
shave my face, because the idea of like putting a blade to my face is,
Well, it's the same. I shave my legs too, and it's hello. I'm kidding.
it's not the same. Face, legs, not the same.
Dude,
Not the same.
I am going to be all over that face tomorrow.
Hello.
Oh, that is
I hope you're talking to, there you go.
gorgeous.
well, we're off to a great start today, guys. Let's talk about Zool. Zool has been confirmed for chat. Zool has been confirmed for next week.
We broke Jake
Jake, come
really
on,
early
kid.
today.
Professionalism.
the melee assassin killer, the auto attack slayer. You guys,
Yeah, we got enough of those. We got enough of those.
Yeah, we do. It seems that way, but now we have another.
Can we get some more mage killers?
What do we have for mage killers? Like advanced
No,
spell block
other
is really good on
mages.
Lunara.
Yeah,
Lunara is
mages,
really
that's-
good.
Other mages kill other mages, Jake.
But we don't have a melee anti-mage, which is what Illidan used to be.
They need to move Stitch's block talent, his spell block.
Unless you need to put a spellbreaker in the game.
Or that. Or more silences. Something! The silences that are in the game are... What, there's 2 of them.
Yo, what's crazy to me is, you guys remember back in like early alpha?
Oh, Illidan?
No.
Well, okay, alright. Thought I was going to beat you to the
You-
punch.
No, you remember back in early alpha, like when we were like theorizing on the show and stuff, like adding Garrosh to the game and how cool Mortal Strike would be, and then like I think there was Duster Bowder or someone said that they didn't like the idea of putting healing reduction into the game because it's too hard to balance around and makes it a necessity, like in WoW arenas. And then they gave Zool level 20 talent where he reduces healing done by 75% for 4
Crazy.
seconds. I know it's level 20 talent, but what?
How is that any different than Hunter's Mark, though? I don't understand
What?
that logic of like not wanting to put that in the game. I mean, obviously it's in the game now, but if
Uh,
they're going to
it
put Hunter's
actually-
Mark at base,
When you do like the math out, it does change it quite a bit. Like
make it
reducing
10% or
healing
something.
compared to like taking more damage is different.
sure, change the percentage, but it's still a cool mechanic.
Well, that's a separate argument. You can't compare the two between Hunter's Mark and healing reduction. That's all I'm saying.
Just like
That's
can't.
not,
And
that's
I
not a
just
fair
did.
thing to.
She can't.
You're
You just did, Kubi. You shithead.
Eat it.
Eat it.
all right.
Is there an echo?
Probably. Oh, Kubi's in the house and he's loud.
She was referring
No.
to me.
God, Jake.
Jake, you're off your game.
Ah!
You're way off, man.
Got him.
Nailed it. He showed us, Jake. Woo! But yeah, it's just I'm curious as to why they changed their mind, and if they are going to introduce a new mechanic to the game, it should be on a level 20 talent. That way, it's like not base kit and just like
Yeah.
pooping on everyone. You get to see how it feels from a very small portion of the game, but it's definitely an interesting change.
Happy birthday, Zoya, man. I'm so proud of you.
I'm just like infinitely tilt right now.
It is Jared's birthday, Chet. So
So
make sure
We have the same birthday.
you say this every week. Like everyone, like they understand.
Not only do we
understand
have
that
the
it's-
same birthday, but our birthday is 4 days after Gilly's birthday.
That's true.
damn, that's weird. So Zool, we know he's coming next week. We know there's a wiggling portrait GIF thing on the Blizz Heroes Twitter. Beyond that, they haven't released any talents or anything regarding to him.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
They released
yeah.
all the talents.
There
That's why he's talking about
why,
the
why do
level
you think I'm talking about level 20 talent, Jake?
Ah!
Click this link, man.
Dude,
It
I
brings-
haven't seen it.
They have all the talents.
Like I said, I have been on that
Overwatch grind, man.
That Overwatch
That
hype
Overwatch
train.
grind, man.
I'm not gonna lie, man. I've been completely focused on it. Oh, what is this website? This isn't a real
It's really
website.
shitty website.
It was with I think it was released in like an article, right? Isn't that how it was
The
done?
link I just gave it to him, and then if you click
Yeah,
to the
that's
right,
what
you see
I
his
had
like
found.
abilities.
This looks like New York Times. Like what?
It's the
Jake.
Reno Gazette Journal.
Jake, just because you haven't seen it before
Doesn't mean
doesn't
you criticize the journalism.
There's not enough pictures. I can't read this. Well,
Okay, he's got four. He's got the same amount of abilities. His trait is Raid Skeleton. When a nearby enemy dies, it becomes a Skeleton Warrior for 15 seconds. Up to 4 Skeleton Warriors can be active at a time. He's got Bone Armor, which is just a shield. He's got the Spectral Scythe, which seems to be like some form of poke. You send out your Spectral Scythe, and it comes back to you.
Yeah, actually, so we had Kent Eric Hagman on Eye on the Storm right after they announced him and Li Ming, and the side sounds pretty cool. It's kind of like the back of a hammering. So like it goes down on the ground and then comes back towards you, and so like if you move, it'll like follow to you, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Can we dub it the boomerang burn?
The boomerang. Well, it doesn't boomerang because it doesn't leave you. You spawn it
Yeah.
out there, and it comes to you.
Could be like the
Well,
Pet
we can't
calling?
call
Like it's
we
like
can't
a-
call
call a
Falstat's hammer boomerang burn. It's way too late for that.
Well, you should have thought about that, a year and a half ago when you first started casting. So, get your
just have
shit.
to wait for another boomerang to come around. All
All
there
right,
is
fine.
to it.
so yeah, he's got the shield, the activatable on his one.
Oh, Jake found a better webpage.
Yeah, here his Nexus has a.
This is a
Right above
website
it.
Jake can respect.
That's yep, we there. Spectral Scythe. This website actually looks decent on a 16:9 monitor. It's not designed for 1992.
Yeah,
How
Jake.
about the fact that he
For
gets
tilt.
4 basic abilities?
That is
That's
interesting
cool.
that they
He starts with what is activated.
But he's not the first because so does Greymane. It's just he doesn't have forums. So Greymane has 4 basic abilities or 5 basic abilities, but he has to shift.
Well, I guess he doesn't have an
Forms.
activated,
Yeah.
right? So
So then, yeah.
Because technically he has the swipe in, he has Gilnean Cocktail, and then he has Disengage, and he has
And
Dark
Dark
Flight,
Flight.
and they're technically different abilities. So he's not the first
Well,
to have
this
that, but I
guy's got
think
4
as
basic
if they keep doing this, it's a good trend for the game because it adds slight more complexity to the heroes, which in theory raises the skill ceiling, and that's something the game needs. So I'm all for it.
I wonder if you can toggle the trait. We'll have to see because I'm thinking something like the Nubrax Beetles, the constant spawning. I forget the name of the talent, but you can turn that off because it only spawns
Legion of
near
Doom.
you, right? You don't. It's not enemies you kill for the trait.
Yeah, when a nearby enemy minion dies, it becomes
Right.
a skeletal warrior.
Interesting. I'd be curious to see just from a design
If
perspective.
you can like
Does,
toggle it on or off, like
yeah,
Legion of
toggle it on.
Beetles.
What all counts as a minion? Like does Zagaras, Roaches, and shit, and Banelings count as minions? A little fight, and then all Banelings
I
die.
don't think those
I would
are
guess not.
called minions.
Those are summons, I think.
Yeah.
Jared starts to trail off in the middle of that. Jake, what are we talking about now? Help.
Yeah, lots of talents. We're not going to do a full run through until they actually like.
Should wait till he's at least in
Yeah,
the client.
I think we'll just do
What
it
he's
next
there to talk
week when
about
he's
it.
actually out.
That works for me.
But no, I mean,
Does
it
seem
sounds cool.
interesting. I just don't like him being marketed as a melee slayer, which is a lot of what his talents are kind of designed to do, which stinks because having a good balance between the two does make the DPS aspect a lot more interesting. Right now, I feel like it's in a good place too because we do see a lot of the melee, but maybe less now. Who knows?
Yeah, I think there's more of a call for an anti-mage, so it's weird that they put this in the game when mages are so prominent, especially now that Li Ming's in the game as well. Like, you think of Li Ming, Lunara, they're all just, like, so powerful in the meta. Jaina, you don't see very often first pick Illidan, you don't see very often first pick Butcher, or Thrall, maybe. So I hope there's an anti-mage on the way because I think that would be far more compelling for the current meta. In the long term, this hero is great. As the hero pool develops, I mean, this is a great hero to have. Just right now, I'd rather have an anti-mage personally. But he looks really fun. I'm super pumped to play him.
So like they start designing these heroes so far out before they're ever announced. Sometimes I wonder if like they're seeing how the meta is at that point and like, it'd be really cool to have a character like this. Who would fit that fantasy? And then they start it and then by the time they're actually released, the meta is so far
Could be it,
changed.
yeah.
Like what if Zul was thought up when Illidan was like huge?
Probably was,
like,
honestly.
Well,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, maybe
what,
that's when
June?
the concept of the hero came out. But as far as I understand it, they're like constantly developing multiple heroes like simultaneously.
Yeah.
So there's like a pool of like 6 heroes that are like close to being done, and it's like, well, which order should we release these heroes in? So that's why I wonder. It's like, well, if there's no other heroes in that pool of 6, let's say it is, and Zul is the best choice, makes me question what's coming next in terms of trying to
Oh,
shake.
Zul's like not bad right now.
No, he's
He's
cool.
running
He's definitely
double
a really
melee
good
assassin
hero.
in a
Excited
lot of
about the
competition.
hero.
So
It's true. No, he'll be really cool, and his heroics sound really compelling too. I like the zombie wall esque ability.
dude, I don't give a shit how good Poison Nova may be. If like it say it's just like far better, I will go Scum and Skeletal Mages every game.
Yeah.
I want 8 little skeletons just following me everywhere. That just sounds hilarious.
It sounds really cool too. It just sounds like badass.
Yeah, he is going to be a lot of fun.
So next week he does launch. Should be a lot of fun. But we are going to go through a bunch of esports stuff now. It's going to be a lighter show because these episodes, like where we're a week before a big tournament, or episodes where we're a week before a big patch, it tends to be lighter. And we're actually in a situation where we're a week before both of those. So next week there's going to be like a ton to talk about, whereas this week it's more like, yay, things on the horizon. So moving on. Let's talk about Enter the Storm EU. Did happen this past weekend. Thoughts?
It was really cool. It's
surprise
really the results were hilarious in the sense that Team Sandwich and Monkeys said they were disbanding before
Yeah.
the tournament, and they were going to drop out, but they already they felt bad because they made the obligation to play in the event, so they showed up anyway. They get second place, almost winning the whole thing. They probably should have. They had a lot of opportunities to win some of those games versus Navi, so it was a really close set for the finals. I think that was like the big story from the event is just the team that's like, after this event we're done. We hate each other. Fuck it, we're out.
Yeah.
And then they get second place. So
They did like a lot of just like YOLO strats from what I saw. Just like kind of like weird compositions that might seem like really out of meta, but like in those situations worked really well.
I love it when teams do that. Jared hates it. Calls it cheese. I don't know what he calls it, but
I don't
he
know.
gets
I call
upset
what
by it.
Blaze does is cheese.
I think
Doing
this
weird
is-
stuff is like not cheese in EU. That's just EU. That's just like the meta. I know it was really cool. Like the coolest thing for me about the drafts was how highly they prioritized Greymane.
Yeah, me
I
too.
almost
Yeah,
picked
I
like
see what you're
100% before mid-tier bans. And it
Sometimes
kind of fits
first
EU's
bands too.
Yeah, first. I mean, he'll get first ban, but you almost never see him make it to the mid-tier bans. Is what I meant. Is like you never see him like go through. He's always picked up. And the weird thing is, they play him in like a very lane-centric like sieging style in the early game, similar to how Li Ming sieges towers and stuff. And you'll find by like level 12, 13 that Greymane's sitting at like 60, 70,000 siege damage, like way ahead of everyone except unless there's like an Abathur or something in the game. It's really cool how they play Greymane, and then and that's like probably the reason why NA doesn't run Greymane is because NA is like very aggression focused in the early game, a lot of rotations, a lot of early ganks, and he's not good until late game. His damage starts scaling harder later, but with the way EU plays it, like he looks really good with their play styles and their meta, like so very very good.
And they have some really good Greymane players too.
Yes.
Like Chris was ridiculous.
Chris is a sick. He is such a safe. Like he's almost boring to watch at times, and then he just knows when he's
Yeah.
safe to go in and secure a kill and not die.
I
Like
guess that's why it's called go for the throat, right? Like
Yeah.
you know exactly.
he always like they are very patient with their Greymane, where as NA tends to play him more like you would a Zeratul. You're constantly diving in for damage, and then you just get slapped in the face and die. Whereas with EU, they're willing to sit there and just wait for Gilnean cocktail, no spells, wait for Gilnean cocktail. Just be as patient as possible. It's a completely different like way they play him, and Quacknick's really good. Greymane.
He was really good too, yeah.
It's
Speaking of other new heroes,
definitely
the
interesting.
Li Ming, not that good, at least in this event.
It's so funny because in EU, where it was the best teams in Europe playing, she lost almost every game, right? Or did she win a single game?
I think she won one. I'll check.
But in the NA qualifiers, which weren't necessarily the top 8 NA teams in the bracket in each of the brackets because they were the end of the qualifiers. They weren't playoffs.
Weren't necessarily.
But well, yeah, I mean, Cloud9 played in one of them, but we didn't see Tempo, we didn't see Cog, we didn't see Bob Ross. It's gonna take me so long to get used to this new. I want to say Navient, but that's like who I owe a student loan to. It's like Naventic or something. Navient is like, my massive pile of debt, so I avoid thinking about it as often as I can. Anyways.
I'll be won a game with leaving.
Okay, but NA, she had like a huge win rate. Like,
it's so funny because I have all of the drafts like from all of the finals, like day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, and like 1, 2, and then kind of into 3. She is the first ban for the second pick team, basically every game, and then like all of a sudden she's let through, and then like not doing so hot.
Yeah, I mean, lots of bans, but maybe teams are it's either not figuring out the strategy to make her work yet, or just have completely overrated.
Sorry, who are we reading stats for Li Ming for? Is this EU or NA? Or
EU.
EU.
Oh, it's because EU doesn't know how to play Li Ming. Like it just doesn't like A, fit their play style, and B, every Li Ming player I've seen from Europe is just bad. Like they have no idea what they're doing.
So,
like, it's blunt, but like
it's so funny because like it's the same thing for NA with Greymane. I feel like NA just has no idea how to play Greymane. I think Greymane is actually a really strong hero, and we see that in Europe.
I would agree.
And then like we see the Li Mings in NA and they look really strong, but we see them in that's kind of cool. I think that's a good differentiation to have.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's. I mean, Bakery's even saying it. Yeah, he's right. EU Li Mings are bad. Like I think that's just it. Like they just haven't figured out how to play her. Maybe it just doesn't fit their overall play style because the meta is very different between the two scenes. Like I said, NA is very aggression based in the early game. EU is more of a pokey, like siege type base, and maybe that just doesn't.
Be that as it may, it's funny to see that the hero is banned out so much in EU then. Like, even given the track record that she has, you think teams would towards the end of the tournament, be like, you know what? People aren't playing her in a scary way at all. We don't have to worry about this so much.
It's essence of Johanna PTSD, man. Just ban her out.
Yeah. It's just adaptability, and teams that figure that out faster aren't going to be wasting their ban slot on it. That's all. At least in EU.
I think the thing that made me happiest about Into the Storm was that there was the occasional Arthas.
The Lich King. Not extinct yet.
Not yet.
We saw Noob Rack played once or twice too, didn't we?
Yeah.
What?
He pops up in NA every once in a while. A noob, not Arthas.
What a booty hero.
I know, yeah. A noob does.
Indubitably.
Noob's really good in certain compositions when you're running double warrior. Very specific situations, but he's not ass. Whereas Arthas, he's ass. Don't pick him.
Are we seeing any Butcher?
There's some. Okay, to be fair, there are some comps that Arthas works in. But
I don't know the last time I saw Butcher played in a match.
He's played a lot in Korea.
He has played a lot behind the scenes.
Okay. But just nothing publicly yet. All right, interesting.
I know both EU and NA run him. Lamb of the Slaughter is...
since the change, it's definitely a lot better.
Yeah.
It's in a good
helps
spot.
a lot. I think he was sort of dropped out of the meta, even with the Lamb being able to be cleansed completely, but like he's good.
Because he's like a melee assassin with no escape, he will always be like a niche pick.
Yes,
because you're always going to be in melee range, and then you have no way to get out if you're getting like messed up. That will always make him very situational. His heroic changes were definitely helpful, and he's got a place, but because of that, he will always be.
Butchie booty tier.
Not booty tier, but...
Nishi tier.
Very good versus Kogal, too. Super good.
Bro, Gall, and Butchie boys. The big bodies of heroes.
Dude, let's talk about Lunara. She is the dumbest hero in this game right now, hands down. She is the dumbest
I love it
in this game. Her numbers are absurd.
Yeah.
She is ridiculous.
Her damage output in general, her siege, her damage for structures,
Nature's
her
Culling,
level,
man.
Nature's Culling at level 7 versus objectives is actually just insane. Like the one shot on the minions on Infernal Shrines, you hit, and you swap targets, and you hit, and you up. It's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the amount of damage you can do to structures with that is nuts too. It surprises me that she is so good at sieging too, with the amount of damage that she also throws out. But maybe I guess that was done to offset the fact that she's not doing like straight up damage. It's poison, so it takes time. I don't
It's
know.
true. But
She'll be a hero, I think, that will kind of go up and down like as the meta fluctuates. And it just depends on like what kind of compositions are really in at that time, and if it's something where it's just doing more damage output, whether it be over time or not, is good thing, then she's going to fit in well. But if it's more bursty, then she's going to find herself not being played as much. Just depends. I'm okay with it for now. I don't think it's gotten out of hand too much, but
yeah,
I wonder if Nature's Calling will be.
I don't think
it needs
Blizzard.
adjustments.
I don't know if Blizzard ever like it's so absurdly good that there's no way that was like ever intended to be like the thing, right? Like I don't think Blizzard ever expected, even with Nature's Calling, just like Lunara's damage to be that like high. It just seems weird that because if that was the case, I feel she would be labeled as a specialist, not an assassin.
Yeah. It seems kind of like how buildings, like, didn't they change vulnerabilities so that buildings no longer can become vulnerable in a couple of patches ago?
what was it
You
again?
can,
What-
well, they
what was the
removed Taranda's mark, and I don't think that like
Yeah, I don't think you could put Mark on it, but I think maybe it was Jaina.
Oh, you can use
remove-
Jaina and
Sylvanas. They can.
16s.
Yeah, I think
On
it still
structures.
works.
Is that what you're
Vulnerability
asking?
still works
Yeah.
on structures. What, they must have changed something else, but it seems weird.
For Jaina or Lunara?
Oh, chat's saying it didn't.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
For Jaina, a while ago, it used to be that the cold damage amplification didn't apply to structures.
Yeah,
I
then
think.
they buffed that.
Well, that was
Then they
that
changed
was
that.
forever.
That was a long
ago.
time ago.
That was a while back.
forever.
That's the only thing. That's the only change I can think of. Though,
That
they
was
made
first
to
minis and
structure
mercs,
damage.
But
Yeah.
I'm getting told no, it doesn't. Not
There we
anymore.
go. Okay, so yeah, that's what I thought they changed that. So it's always seemed strange to me that structures could become vulnerable. Like it seemed strange, and I'm kind of like weird. Poison for structures also seems strange, but I don't know how you would, since that's like all her.
I mean, it's
Damage.
like the whole point of the game is that heroic, like all abilities and heroics work on structures. Like that's the whole like design around structures and stuff. So I think it should all work personally.
Yeah, you can't even stun them anymore. I remember watching a game where I think a Hammer of Justice would have been the difference.
No, there's
There couldn't-
very few supports did it, but there were a few. Bakery, surprisingly, was one of them. Not surprisingly, he's always like the first person to figure out things about sport. Like Bakery and a few others would like double stun towers and stuff with benediction to like.
stop the
very
shots.
few knew about
the
stunning
shots.
towers.
Yeah, well. ETS, we looked at the bracket a moment ago. T-Sam, Ripperoni and Cheese, but at least they had a good send-off.
Did we get any kind of comments out of them afterwards? They're like, "Oh, whoops, what? We're still leaving," or anything?
I think there's some drama involved as far as I understand it, but
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think they want to keep playing together. But again, I shouldn't speak for them. I'm not sure if that's the case. I haven't talked to any of the players directly, so just heard some stuff in the grapevine, and I am not going to divulge. Sorry. Let's move on to our NA
Jake
predictions.
knows. Jake knows all.
All right, so NA predictions. Now we actually have something that's actually kind of cool. We have a new way to show off our predictions, and Asheza, who's actually been helping me build my website for a while now, built a bracket tool, like a bracket creator on solidjakegg.com. It's just solidjakegg.com/bracket. There's no way to find it on the nav. You have to actually type it in, and you'll actually get a little bracket creation thing. So it's pretty neat. Cool. It creates a link, and then you can share that link with your friends as to who you think is going to win the bracket, so on and so forth. So I have ordered these. I think this first one is Zoya's. And Zoya, I would like you to run through your bracket with us.
I don't think any of this is going to be too surprising.
Boring.
Bob Ross and Tempo Storm make it out of Group A. You actually want me to read like point for point?
Yeah,
No,
I mean,
just
if
upsets.
upsets and like
Upsets,
specific.
upsets.
I
Who do you think's gonna have a breakout? Do you
The
have anyone
only
doing a
thing
breakout?
I did differently was that was probably like be weird to think about is I say Cognitive beats Team Blaze day one, and then they rematch for the elimination match, and then Blaze beats Cog. I think that Cognitive is probably, or not Cognitive, Blaze is sitting on a few really stupid strategies that when they're against the ropes and like back, like, in elimination spots, they're going to bust those out. And I think that Cognitive will beat them day one, and Blaze will beat them day two and make it out of groups. And then
I think with that too, Cog like has more experience too, so there'll be nerves, but then like once Blaze kind of get into everything too. So like a combination of that. I put the same thing.
well, like Cognitive has nerves issues too. Like
That's true.
a lot of those players seem to perform very subpar at lands. But yeah, I put Blaze and Tempo, Cog, or Cloud9 and Naventic, whatever it's called, out of groups, and then with Tempo and Bob Ross making finals, with Bob Ross winning.
Nice Rooney and cheese, man. Gilly, I think this is yours next.
Sweet. So I put Naventic and Tempo also making it out of the groups. That group, I mean, Naventic for sure, but then like King of Blades has been getting a lot better. I think Panda can really show up too. So a lot of that's going to be like nerves, and then just who gets the heroes that they really want. Because like in the instance of Panda Global and King of Blades too, like they're running a lot of the same stuff, and then sometimes, I think it's just going to depend on like drafts and stuff and who can get those like key picks. But I do think that there is some change maybe for that, but Naventic for sure. And Tempo is the one that I'm predicting to join them out. Cloud9 going on, and then I did the same thing. I think Cog will beat Blaze initially, and then Blaze will beat Cog, which would put Blaze up against Naventic. And that'll be Naventic winning that, and then Cloud9 beating Tempo, and that Naventic will win it all.
Gilly gives it to Naventic. Cloud9 in second. Tempo in third.
Third, fourth.
Third, fourth with Blaze.
All right, now let's look at this abomination known as
We in there.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Yo, Panda Global.
Ooh, the
Panda
mix-up.
Panda Global, my boys.
You're a
Yeah.
shithead.
They're going to make it out. They're going to. What? I have them, beating Tempo?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. Yeah. Sure. I mean, Bob Ross Fan Club, now Naventic. They look pretty good. Look really good. We know they look good. They're gonna win. Other than that, Cloud9 maybe a little shaky. We'll see. I don't know. It was a close call. But Panda Global, I'm keeping my eyes on those guys. When we come back next week, and I'm right. Yeah, you guys are gonna be.
If we come back next week and you're right, and we have Cognitive representing us, North America and Korea, we're fucked.
Nice.
You know what? If there's two teams, like, this is not the same situation as Vegas, where Cloud9 and Tempo were in the same group. So as long as they both advanced, they couldn't meet each other in the semifinals, correct? I'm pretty sure that's
Yes.
how it was. And
This
so then
is-
they were guaranteed to go on. This is a
Vegas
situation
was
where-
random seeding. The groups were randomly seeded. This was actually seeded.
Well, still, like, this is a situation where if someone has a really bad off day like Cloud9, all of a sudden it could be Cloud9 and Naventic in the same semifinal. And then there is no way to have them both there. So whatever two teams do the best, I think will represent us well in North America.
Nice.
That's all I have to say.
Kubi,
Mm-hmm.
you want to make a bet?
No, stop. You've taken enough of my money.
It won't be money
One
this
of these
time.
times I'm gonna be
It won't
so
be money
right.
this time.
So right.
It won't be money this time.
I don't know what that scares me more.
We'll just dye our hair purple if we lose.
No,
I want to dye my hair purple either way, so you know what?
no.
If I win or lose,
Go ahead,
we'll do
man.
it.
I'll just come on and gloat next week if I'm right. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
I've got
Panda Global.
I think mine's pretty much the same. I have one difference from most people, and that I've got my boys King of Blades Alpha as my wild card, taking out PG.
I did that.
Oh, nice.
I did that too.
I don't know. King of Blades Alpha, they're a new
First of
team.
all,
They're
no.
young.
Your boys I have been hyping them up for a month now.
Nah,
You
they're
are
Jake's
just
boys.
now getting on the King of
Jake,
Blades
Jake
Alpha
was the
train.
one who first said that they were a really good team.
I'm about to fucking swing all over both of you.
Can you
said
stop?
King of Blades Alpha were my dark horse a month ago before the qualifiers even started. So you know what? Get off. They're not your boys.
Hey, Zoya, can you
They're
back
my
away
boys.
from my boys?
They're my boys, Jake. I will swing, throwing some bows at Jake.
What does that mean?
My
Throwing
elbows,
bows.
throwing some bows,
I was like, are you
Throwing
cat
some
piss
bows.
never clean? What are you?
throwing some bows, man.
All right, thanks, cat piss never clean. Yeah, I don't know. I think Naventic too strong. They're gonna sweep. I don't think they'll drop a game. I think they're gonna thrive on land. They've got a bunch of hype monsters on their team. You guys know what Zuna does when they're ahead. When you hear his booming voice in a quiet studio like that with no crowd to interject, it tilts the enemy team. Like there's no escaping the echoing boom of that man's voice. And as long as they're winning, you're gonna hear it. Those invades that Naventic does on Merc camps and stuff, they're just gonna explode the whole studio with just battle cries. So I got them up there in tempo. They don't look as clean, as consistent as they did with this roster yet. I think they can do well. I just don't think they can beat Cloud9. Cloud9 has way more experience as a team, and they're the longest standing team at this point, even though they have one swap out. But I think they've just easily going to make the finals. I actually think they have a chance of taking Naventic to Game 5 or whatever it is for finals. But
Blaze is the longest standing team. They've been around since Storm.
oh wow, okay.
Yes. Well, it wasn't the full roster they had at Dorm, but they are still the. Yeah, they didn't have all 5 of them, but I think like a couple of months within Dorm. So yeah, you're definitely right. They're the longest running roster. But still, like they've really started from like the bottom. You know, they started with Heroes hype, the amateur tournaments.
We started at the bottom and now we're at the top.
There are like so many of these teams. If they had like just a good tournament.
Kubi's tilted.
Sorry, Gilly.
You're good. I don't think it's like out of the realm that we see Cloud9 and Naventic not like both going. I think it just depends. It'll depend, like that first day. If like Cloud9 doesn't get first and Naventic does, they're up against each other.
Right. It's gonna be Cog, man.
Esports.
I do want to like go back to how Jake was hyping up Zuna. I don't know if like anyone else is in the same boat, but I am really excited to watch Fan in this tournament. I don't know why. I just feel like it's been a long time since I've watched Fan, and I'm excited to see where he's at as a player. You know, like it was like a kind of interesting, you know, transition from Cloud9 to Bob Ross, and we only saw them play publicly twice with the roster, right? It was the Esports Arena and then the first qualifier. So
where they just played like 8 straight games and then were out like super quiet. It was just advanced, didn't lose a single game. No one got to like watch any of their play really. So yeah.
So I'm excited to see where Fan is at as a player.
Gilly, who's your player to watch?
Oh, my player to watch? Kind of surprised me there.
Yeah.
Gotta be flexible, Gilly. Let's go. Sorry,
I will say that Tomster, if he gets the picks that he likes and is really on a roll, he can be really fun to watch and cool. And then several members of Blaze.
One player. You don't get several members of Blaze 2, JC. You get
Huge.
That's mine. You can't take that one.
Okay, then I'll say Tomster, you say Huge. And as long as Huge is...
I didn't know we were doing players to watch because I want to change mine.
Nope, you've already got fan pick.
Big
I
Impact's
googled
probably the best
Tomster, and that's what I got as a
world.
result. So you get this little weird hamster thing.
Sure.
I said Huge. Let me see if I can find a Huge pick. Kubi.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Big Impact. To say him because that's who I want to change mine to.
Oh.
I think Big Impact's secretly one of the best range carries in the world.
Big E.
There's my boy Huge. Best Brightwing NA.
Are we talking like upset or just like who's gonna make plays?
Who you want to? Who you
Like,
think
who's
is
gonna
going to
make-
be a baller this weekend?
Who's gonna be Mac? Mac's
Mac.
gonna
Oh,
be
yeah.
a baller. Because Mac's always a baller. He's never
Yeah.
not. That guy,
Just too safe. Pick someone.
No, that's not too safe. That's legit.
Too legit.
No, that guy makes plays on Tassadar. Get at me.
Say big impact. I'm not trolling. I think he's really, really good. And he's on a team that, like, he's overall, no offense to the rest of his team, but I think he's on a team
Just
that's
put a
like,
barrel
by
on my-
far the best player on.
I think Solomon's good.
Damn, I don't have a picture.
I
of
would say
McIntyre.
Solomon's probably the worst player
Just put a barrel in the
on
corner.
that team. Solomon's inconsistent and, like, overextends a lot and gets punished for it. I think big impact is, like, Cloud9 Bob Ross tier almost.
Big E's good.
Yo, Chad agrees.
McIntyre. Task play.
Chad agrees.
There we go. I found him. I had a picture of him on my computer, ready for this day. Nice. Now we have our soulmates in our scene.
Two players in the history of heroes that have made Tassadar look scary: Bobby Hankill and McIntyre.
Okay, now you're freaking trolling me. You're trying to put me on tilt by saying Bobby Hankill.
His task.
Bobby Hankill Tassadar wasn't
Invented
like
the aggro Tassadar.
no. K1 Pro invented the aggro
No.
Tassadar. Bobby Hankill invented the I'm bad. I can only play Tassadar because he's impossible to kill Tassadar.
No.
Yes.
I know. He knew the deep shift.
K1, even me was
Fine.
agreeing with me. K1 was the one who invented aggro Tassadar. Bobby Hankill was the guy that like he can't play Bala because he'll get killed. He can't play this hero because he'll get killed. Put him on Tassadar because guess what? You can't kill Tassadar back then. Kubi,
I'm just. I
Kubi,
remember.
you're in the
months
dumpster.
before.
Just
you're in the dumpster. Look at that green glow.
No. What? Just because Jared's just spewing random facts, or it's not
The
even
only thing
facts.
Random
Spewing
facts.
is the
They're
film.
still facts, brother.
They're not true. Just random anecdotes.
Oh
What
my god!
Jake, help, man. What are you doing over there? What is this? Jake actually broke everything.
All right, I can fix this. I can.
Can you?
Oh,
What have you done?
All right, a quick commercial break.
No. He gets to publicly fix his shame. How did you drag 8 things?
Good enough.
Press.
Good enough. Kubi's roll with it, boys.
Well,
Wow.
learning new things today. I learned that I should not push buttons if I'm not. I'm not in a position that needs
Well,
pushing buttons.
Well met.
Sorry, guys. Stream experience destroyed. Kubi, you're good. We'll just.
Yeah, whatever. Afraid if you try to fix it, you'll.
Yeah. I'm scared, man. I just need to get something to cover that little top section.
You're a saint.
Any other things guys want to talk about for NA? We know. Oh, we can talk about stitches.
We'll talk about stitches in a little bit.
That was
Kubi's not ready.
Oh, is that a
that
sec?
was your-
there's like a lot of yeah.
Well, we need
that
to
a sec-
talk about the other parts. We've already talked about the teams. We've already talked about our results that we're
All
expecting.
right, well, we could any weird heroes that are going to make a bit. What is that?
I had to cover up the black, man.
All right, sure. It's like my own little like crown. I like this. It's kind of nice. Any strange heroes you think they're going to have like maybe Jared can't speak to this too much without revealing anything, but heroes that might be like coming out of nowhere that'll take a couple games and be like, whoa, didn't know that would be a thing.
Look at the
And Gilly maybe not either because she's been watching a lot of scrims.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of scrims.
Tough call. But do you think there are heroes at least? Can you say that much?
I mean, we already kind of hinted that Butcher's a possibility.
Yeah.
There's There is a slight chance that with the double melee assassin thing popping up, that we'll be seeing a decent amount of Lily.
Blinds for days, boys. That's exciting. I would like that very much.
I think we'll be seeing a good amount of Greymane.
Maybe.
Are you accounting for all of the teams when you say that, maybe?
I'm talking about the good teams, the top 7 teams.
Okay, there are 8 teams there.
Okay, I'm
8
talking
teams.
about the 7.
I'm saying a good amount of Greymane between the 8 teams that are there.
Okay,
The entire broadcast.
and ignoring what the 8th team does.
I just hope that Bob Ross can play Chen. I hope it happens.
Me too.
Chen was picked in the EU a few times.
And he was picked in Korea as well, and he won.
Did you watch the game where Lowell played Chen? Oh my god.
I watch everything Lowell does.
That
If
Chen.
anyone else is going to get the dues, if anyone else is going to get the title perfect human form, it's going to be Lowell, man. That guy is.
Oh, is it Lowell? Is that how you say it?
I'm going to call him Lowell.
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 Lowell, cowbell.
Well, that just sounds like you're.
Perfect form.
From
Perfect form.
Texas.
Perfect form.
He is quite possibly one of the most old school players still playing. The very first BlizzCon that we went to just when they did like the 4-team invitational, he was like, I remember meeting him. I was like, oh,
Was he on Fnatic at the time?
Yeah.
Fnatic Lowell when he was when that was the Fnatic
with
team.
Naniwa.
Naniwa.
And I forget the
Ace
rest
of
of the players' name.
Spades.
I remember that Law was there.
Ace of Spades.
Yeah,
Definitely
Ace.
Caffeine, Dunk Train were in that tournament. iDream was in that tournament.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they were playing for Liquid.
They played for Liquid.
Oh man, throwbacks. That was a good time.
I wish Naniwa was still playing Heroes.
What is he doing? Is he playing StarCraft?
I don't know.
Random
I
derail.
don't know if he's a real person anymore.
I just really like Naniwa.
All right, Jake, relax.
I like Naniwa when he threw MLG Providence versus the little
was a
chubby
pro
guy.
player.
What was his name?
I'm not
The
gonna
real
touch
young
that.
kid.
Oh, Leenock.
Leenock.
Oh, Lena.
Leenock.
Leenock.
The Leanoctopus.
Leanoctopus.
E. All right. Well,
Providence.
Nani still streams SC2. Okay. News to me.
Still streams. Is he like playing competitively?
No, he was
Jack-
in like a
Jack
ESL
him
a few months back.
I don't know if he's playing. All right.
This is a nice looking show, guys. We've stepped up our game each week.
A lot of really nice things going on.
Graphics.
Yeah.
Kubi can retain his flowers. All right. Well, I mean, any other thoughts on NA? We've talked about the bracket. We've talked about the event. It's happening this weekend. Starts Saturday. There's no live audience, and we've talked about this a little bit, but it just kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Like EU's got like this big event, and
We were limited to 2 guests too.
wait,
So I couldn't
we
even
can
get,
bring
like-
guests. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it's
The
because
teams-
the studio's a closet.
Teams
That's
were
why.
limited to 2 guests, and
Kinda
we
s-
had to like use those on like Raynad, and then
Which
put
which
them
studio are you
so
guys in? Are you in A or B?
We can get girlfriends in and stuff.
We're in, as far as I know, the same one from opening week.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll go this far. I started commentating to travel and cast at live events. It's the only reason. That's my only drive. And like when I'm not getting that, and I know I'm not going to Katowice, and I doubt I'm going to Korea, it's discouraging as all hell. It really is. And this is why I'm driving, towards all the work I do, all the content I create. I don't make any money from the YouTube videos I make. I don't make money for doing Town Hall. And I'm trying to make a full-time job out of this. And by getting those events and by casting at the live events, not only do the events satisfy me, but it pays the bills. So not having the LAN here sucks a lot.
Yes, it does.
Like a lot. And I'm kind of salty, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I think especially around like esports arena time, a lot of people were hyped up. We got that LAN, and then we're gonna have regionals coming up as our next LAN, and knowing that the next LAN will potentially not be until summer split,
Yeah, probably
and,
May.
and may not it may not even be then. I mean, I guess you can count Dorm. as a LAN, but not like a professional LAN.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
but there's a
if
reason.
summer regionals is the same thing, then
Dorm, even last year, like the competitive scene was starting to bud back then as well, and it was very different. It's a very separate event. It's very good in its own right, but when it comes to the competitive play that we want to see in a LAN big event with an audience, much like what we had at BlizzCon, it's not the same. So, but just different.
Like the event will be fun. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm excited to cast with you guys. I'm excited to cast with Dread. But there's a reason why I'm focusing a lot on Overwatch. I'll say that. I will say that. Because feels bad, man. I hate to like be a downer, but I don't know. I'm disappointed at the very least.
You know who doesn't hate to be a downer? This guy right here. Because there's one person that's not casting this event.
Uh-oh.
And that would be myself for good reason. Actually, there's a lot of reasons involved. I know I've been asked about this a bunch on Twitter. I haven't really responded to anything. Kind of just waiting to find the right time to talk about it. Basically, this event is put on entirely by ESL NA. I'm not sure how familiar the audience watching, or at least knows to separate out that there's Blizzard that's involved with this entity. There is a production company, ESL. They have the space. They do all the production. There are sometimes other companies that get involved. Yellow Light was working with a lot of the BlizzCon production along with ESL. And there's a separation that's very clear between ESL NA and EU. And ESL NA is like pants on head doing things really wrong all over the place. In terms of just like how they're handling talent, how they're handling players, how they're handling rule sets. I mean, we just talked about the live audience. That's like completely inexcusable, I think. I'm not sure how they're booking it as to like why they weren't able to put it in the first one. At least we could have had a small audience. But like the way that the second one is laid out, it's just like impossible to get any audience in there at all. All right, what else? I don't know about when they contacted you guys to cast. They contacted me, I think, less than a week before the event was actually happening. We had no idea, as far as at least from my perspective, I had no idea like who was actually going to be casting the event. And they of course have to send out contracts to all the casters to say, okay, you're going to be casting X event if you want to and you're available and you can agree to this rate, yada yada. I have a full-time job. I only have so much vacation time. I actually spent a lot of that vacation time for opening week, BlizzCon last year, all the events we were doing out in Vegas, yada yada. I have very little vacation time left, and it's also a pain for me to go to my boss a week ahead of time and say, hey, I need next Friday off, time off without pay because I don't have any vacation time left. And for some reason, ESL NA thinks it's okay to disrespect the talent in that sense by only giving us a week time. I think that that's completely unfair. So there's that. There's us casting all the events. We do a lot of this for the community in terms of like casting the qualifiers from home, doing all these home productions. They're not easy to do. There's a lot of time that goes into them, and we do them because we really like the scene and all that. But it is a huge time sink, okay? And ESL gets a certain amount of money when they bid for the contract through Blizzard to handle these qualifier events, and they, especially since we know what the prize pool is, they can pay us a reasonable rate. And a lot of what this comes down to, they honestly don't pay the casters enough money, in my personal opinion, especially when you consider how late they're contacting us and the amount of work that we do for this company for free. And when you culminate all of that together, I think that we're worth a certain amount of money to be paid. I'm not going to say what that is. And they think it's okay to pay us way less than that. So I said, no, I'm getting this much money because yada yada, and they just decided not to. So that's the reason I'm not going. It's not for any other reason. I'm not quitting or anything like that, but I think it's just kind of a disrespect thing. And that's it. End rant.
Well, sorry for the
heavy stuff, but
yeah, for that, guys. It's just
rather not send that out over 1,000 tweets, but that's what it is. So that's why I'm not going, guys.
Yeah.
Rip the dream.
It's just kind of a weird situation where we look at other games, and Kubi and I have talked about this a lot, obviously. We look at other games, and we see, like, LCS has, like, released their full year schedule. They know exactly what to look forward to. You look at Street Fighter, and they have their full year schedule, and they know what to look forward to.
Yeah.
And for someone like, you, like you said, you have a full-time job. You have a lot on your plate already, and it's just hard to justify, like, really just stressing out over this stuff. If it's not your career...
No, I want to really
respect it.
make sure that there's like a very good distinction. Blizzard said, ESL, you're handling this qualifier. I'm not at all blaming Blizzard for any of this. They have a lot on their plate, especially with Dorm coming up. You guys have no idea how much stuff goes on behind the scenes for Dorm. It is a lot. There's a lot involved, and I can tell you that a lot of their esports team is dedicated to that and focused on that. So they needed to be able to say, in all the regions, someone is bidding for this contract, for this tournament. You guys take care of everything. And I think they dropped the ball huge. There's so much other stuff going on. Stitches, like the ban for Stitches, or the decision, Jared, what was the official decision? They banned it out like 2 days before? Or
he's unbanned.
He's unbanned, okay. But teams were looking for a decision out of ESL weeks ahead of time, and they got nothing. Teams need to practice this stuff. It's like they kind of like write it off like it's not this big deal. Like, oh, whatever, we'll figure it out. And some of it may be like waiting for Blizzard to try to put a patch in. I'm sure that they went and contacted them, but you have to make a decision. You can't lollygag on the stuff. Even if it's not the right one, you have to make a decision ahead of time, at least a week ahead of time for these teams to practice. Now, the decision for EU is the same, but they have a huge gap. Not a huge gap, but they have at least a week now, even if the timing for it came out the same. Also, brackets came out really late. The talent was announced even after EU's was, and again, there's that week gap. There's just so much stuff where it's like, why? Why is this so delayed in every aspect when EU seems to have all of their stuff together? I don't know. Very, very frustrating. Incredibly frustrating. And like Jake was saying, on top of all this stuff, it's like, I got a job. I don't need to stress about this kind of stuff. So that is why. That is why I'm frustrated.
That's fair, man. That's fair. But on the positive side, we've got a live event for the first time since Heroes Hype, which will be really good. And maybe that there's not an audience, but it's still an actual event where the players are there in person, so the production should be higher. I've personally always preferred working with organizations that are truly in esports. And when we worked all the events last year, we worked with an organization that wasn't necessarily fully on esports. They're very good at certain aspects of the show, but other aspects when it comes to just the way that the event is run and the way that they handle certain elements, like the live draft, for example. This event's actually going to have live draft, whereas last year's the qualifiers had like drafts that were done during the commercial break that weren't necessarily genuine, and that kind of kills with the flow and makes it sort of telegraphed, and it feels a little disingenuine to me, and I hated it. I hated it. So I'm actually really looking forward to the fact that we're truly going to have an actual live draft during this event, and you can see genuine player reactions. Because even if you go back to BlizzCon, you'll see they're like showing Dunk Train, like they all go back to their chairs in the middle of the draft. Like they're all huddled, and if you watch the VODs, you'll see them halfway through the draft, they all go back and sit at their computers. That's because they're done. But they're still faking the draft on screen. So yeah, that'll be a nice change. So I'm actually really looking forward to a lot of that stuff. And we get to work directly with Chobra. And I have
my hero.
Unlimited respect for that guy. So that's
Chobra's
really
great. No,
excited.
he was a fantastic host for Vegas. He's a great dude. And yeah, another thing, like I shouldn't like necessarily be saying that like all of ESL NA is trash. There's a lot of people working for them that are really genuinely good people, and they do really good work. But there's a lot of decisions that go on there that are frustrating. Yep. But there are a lot of cool people there. I don't want everyone at ESL NA to be offended by that. There's certain people making bad decisions that really kind of ruins it for everybody.
I think the nice thing is that this is only the first of 3. So, there's so much room to, there's so much time.
Much room to improve.
Well, there's so much
There's
time
a lot
to
of room
improve.
for that improvement, right?
Yeah.
And I just want to clarify that I have no intentions of quitting Heroes. I think a few people in the chat were under that perspective, the way I was saying it. The main reason I'm ranting right now is because I want to see change. Coming into this and really thinking that this year was going to be like the ultimate thing for Heroes, and especially since this is my livelihood. This is how events are my livelihood, and I don't really know what the scope is. Like I was expecting to be doing a little bit more than I am right now, but I just had 2 months of nothingness. And there's some things coming up, and the near future looks decent. But I personally, after seeing Street Fighter and all these things announced, I'm really hoping Blizzard will give us schedules a little bit sooner as to the scope of things, because I love Heroes. I love this community. I love the game. I absolutely love shoutcasting the game. I'm doing it every weekend I can for a reason. I thoroughly enjoy it, and I'm just hoping to see those improvements on multiple fronts, not just on ESL, because like you said, there are a lot of issues with the way that talent's booked, and Kubi feeling disrespected. I can't really disagree entirely. The lack of a live event in North America is not only a letdown for us, it's a huge letdown for the players. It's a letdown for the fans, and it goes both ways. And my fiance has this philosophy that I live by too. First, step one, respect the players. Step two, respect the talent. Step three, respect the fans. Because honestly, the players are the ones that are living their lives playing this game, perfecting it, and getting good at it, and giving everyone a show. The talent are the ones that are spending all their time researching, studying, putting all their time into trying to put on the best show possible in that sense. And then the fans, of course, are very crucial and important, and they do deserve a lot of respect, but you need to respect the people that create the product first. And I think it just all has to start with a little bit more, maybe even transparency of just as to what to expect. And not just for the people behind the scenes. I think everyone deserves that transparency.
I'm going to kind of play the opposite side of this coin, because I had an interesting conversation with someone the other day, and it was kind of cool to see from the outside what they think. I had a conversation with someone who's replacing me as manager for this event. I'm still Tempest Storm manager. He's the only replacement because I'm casting. And I was telling him, about what's expected, the scene and stuff, and he had a bunch of questions for me. And I ended up revealing, my salary to him, and he was shocked. He's like, "What? That's it? Shouldn't you be making much more for what you're doing? You're in such a good place." And I think it all comes back to the size of the game. When I look at the size of Heroes on Twitch, its player base, and overall how it's much lower than we all expected. I am very grateful and happy to have the salary I'm getting and to be in this house. Comparative to how big Heroes is, the fact that I have this home and make the money I do from Tempo Storm, I'm able to live full-time esports, is shocking to me. You always have to keep in mind the scale of the game, and Heroes is a stupidly small game in comparison to other esports. It is one of the smallest. And
Blizzard's putting a ton of money into it, and that's great. And the money is going to keep sponsors interested to an extent, but also having reach. This goes back to exactly what I was just saying. When there's a scope of events to come, sponsors know that they're going to get X events for their players that are going to give them exposure, and that's critical for sponsors to have an idea of what to expect out of the game.
Yeah, a lot of people look at it and go, these guys are at the top, the scene, and they look at it they don't maybe expect League of Legends money, but they expect something close, right? Well, that's not even close to the case.
No, not
right?
even.
Heroes is so small for a game.
There might be two streamers that make a living, an actual genuine living, just streaming.
And they have to stream a lot.
Yeah,
and I don't count Grubby because Grubby is different.
Well, he's doing Warcraft lately more than anything anyway. So
yeah, but. If Grubby, for instance, isn't streaming Heroes, the game's got nothing in terms of viewership.
Sure.
I could load up my stream and probably get to number one at night because there's no pro streaming the game because it's too frustrating for them to play. They have nothing to gain from it because there's no ladder system. All the personalities have quit. Where's Chew been? Where's ZP? Grubby's going back to Warcraft 3.
Chew is on vacation, but
Chew's on vacation. Okay, so there's that one. The top streamers right now are a bunch of newcomers that have been streaming consistently, and you got Dread and McIntyre and Urho, who are starting to get up there. The game's just small, so when you take into all this into account, now I mainly sit on the side that Kubi and Jake do. I agree that some things do need to change, but you always have to keep in mind the scale of the game as well. You cannot expect someone was where does Tempo? They're made, they're cook. The 3 coaches they have to monitor all these. The fitness, the psychologist. No. This is Heroes of the Storm. Right, and even if Tempo Storm was still where they were before, that back in July of last year, that still wouldn't be the case right now either, just because of where the game's at. If the game grows to a point, where even if it doubles in viewership, you'll start to see those changes happening. But right now, it's just such a small game in comparison. You can't look at these things and be like, I heard CS:GO players get this, I heard Dota players get this. Well, guys, we get a 1/10 of the viewership Dota does. So I don't know if those numbers are exact. So don't quote me 100% on them. But
I don't even know if we get a tenth of the viewership. Dota gets big viewership constantly. It's a top 3 Twitch title. I mean, that's there's a huge
I think
disparity
they
between.
have a big tournament going on right now,
Yeah.
but they have 117,000 people watching Dota.
so okay.
We've had that once.
once in the history of the game. But Dota, CS:GO, and League are kind of, and Hearthstone are kind of on their own tier
That's
list.
not necessarily a bad thing, by the way, as well. There have been so many communities that survived off of these small types of groups. Look at Counter-Strike, how long it lasted before it blew
That's
up.
true.
Look
That's
at
true.
Quake.
Melee.
Look at Smash. There's
Yeah,
so like
Smash is-
StarCraft Brood War. Look at what how those guys stayed together. But it was such a small, incredibly small scene. Being a small scene, if this is what Heroes is, that's not necessarily a bad thing. The people who love Heroes, people who built this community, they're going to stick around. They're going to keep doing what they do. As long as it doesn't decline, it's fine. Like personally, we all want it to be League of Legends, right? We all want it to be there, but just because it's small doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. We should always be doing everything we can to bring new viewers in, bring new fans in. But just because we are a smaller title doesn't mean it's necessarily bad. We just got to be doing everything we can to, get the new viewers in.
And if it does stay small, I mean, most of us love how the Heroes community is. Like, yeah, there are some people. There's going to be some people in every community.
Oh, of course.
But the Heroes community is incredible, and they're super supportive and wonderful and awesome. And if that means that we get to control the community and make sure that it stays that way, even if it grows really slowly, it's kind of cool.
That's true. It's a good way to look at it. No, we do have an awesome community. The diehards are phenomenal. So all you regulars, all you guys that are just really into Heroes, thank you so much, because you're our drive. You are the only thing that keeps us doing what we do. Seriously.
That is true.
That is very true.
If without the community, I would have quit this game a long time ago.
We
The
all
game
would
is
have.
not fun enough that I would keep playing at this point. We're trying to get us to the point that the game is fun enough that I can only live off the game, right? But I would have 100% quit this game without the community. 100%.
Yeah, the show wouldn't exist. We've done 97 episodes, and that's for you guys. It's we like doing it, but it's still it's a big part of our week. We have to make sure that we can do it, and we've even gone out of our way to do it at live events. So I don't know. I'm hopeful for improvements moving forward, because there's some cool stuff coming up for sure. There are things to look forward to. There definitely are.
There's still a lot that needs to be changed.
There's still a lot that needs to be changed within the game too. I mean, we've had that talk a few times now. The game still lacks the fact that StarCraft 2 in 2011 had in-game promotion and Hero still doesn't, drives me nuts, and it just drives me insane. I don't understand it, and I never will. But eventually, Blizzard will catch up.
Jake was so close to going into a massive rant.
Yeah.
I'm glad you stopped yourself. I'm proud of you, Jake.
I kept that one soft.
That was good. Good job.
Oh yeah, and then there's, I can't stop, guys. Go to Battle.net right now. Go to Battle.net. Click StarCraft 2. Hey, look, they're promoting a community newspaper. Has Heroes ever had something like that? Ever?
Community newspaper?
Has there ever been a community thing on the front of the launcher?
Yeah. Well,
Felicia, day
We
brushing
do
your teeth.
TGN stuff.
Has there been TGN stuff?
Again, a Reddit thread just popped up. Jake just said he's not quitting HOTS. There's already a Reddit play. Saw Jake and Kubi considering quitting HOTS to do Overwatch instead. Literally just said. Literally just said they're not quitting HOTS yet. If 2 more years of this Blizzard and we're out, but they're not quitting it yet. What's the Reddit thread? He literally said that. There's a Reddit thread.
To clarify, I'm expanding into Overwatch, so I am going to cast Overwatch, but I'm not leaving Heroes. But I am expanding into Overwatch, yes.
And I think that's probably one of the smartest decisions you can make as a commentator. Look at Calaris. Cast StarCraft, Guild Wars 2, and
Heroes. Yeah.
Heroes of the Storm.
Exactly, and that's actually
how you should be doing
He's
it.
my inspiration. I'm like, look, I need to do more. If I'm worried about finances, I need to expand, and I need to just work harder, right? And that's my philosophy. I love Heroes, not leaving it, but Overwatch. That's why I'm putting more emphasis on it right now, because I have a lot of
This
ground.
is the 21st century, people. You can have more than one love, all right?
I have grounds to
A little
cover,
bit
my friends.
freeform here, you know?
Jared,
You love.
Jared's my only love.
I love you, chat, you nerds. Well, unfortunately, I do have a flight in the morning, so we do have to kind of cut things short. And I do apologize for the rants today, but it was It was a needed
I
week.
don't.
It was a needed week for rants. Yeah, I don't know. Let us go to our shout outs with you, Zoloff.
Shout out to Tempest Storm and all our sponsors, Twitch, G2A, and Fnatic Gear. You can head it over to intotheam.com where you can buy Tempest Storm swag such as shirts, t-shirts, sweaters, as well as hats. Really, really awesome. You know, they're what allows me to live in this house and keep doing what I do every day, which is really cool. Make sure you cheer on the team this weekend as they are competing for that awesome spot in Korea. We want to go so bad, and we've been working really hard.
prize pool too.
$100,000 prize pool, yeah, a lot of money on the line. But the guys have been going hard. We've been scrimming 6 hours a day for the last 2 weeks, as well as doing much more time in replay and just going over little things in there. So they've worked really hard, and hopefully it shows this weekend. I'll also be casting, so you can give me some love as well, just a little bit. Give it mainly to the team, but I want a little bit. Just give me a little loving. And I think that's it. Just check out the cast this weekend. It's going to be awesome.
So let's just Resurgence blew up. I don't think anyone's
right.
surprised, but
No.
I mean,
GG. Some solid players on that team. I'm sure they'll find homes.
Yeah.
They're not solid ones. We'll see what happens to them. Sucks. So.
Homes with better internet, maybe. Whoops.
Hope's better internet. So Kubi, since Jake's typing away.
sorry,
Taking crap piece.
I wanted
It's
to
okay,
plug.
Jake. It's okay. So yes, best of luck to all the teams competing this weekend, and best of luck to the casters. Have a good time.
Thanks, bro. I'm gonna miss you this.
Do it for me.
We won't miss you.
This was the first land in a long time. I won't have my Kubi to give me some loving at night when I'm real lonely. So
Did Jake just take away my crown? What is he doing?
did.
He's making it a beard.
He's not good at this. Other than that, jeez, not much. Just because I'm not going to be casting, but I'll be excited. I'll be watching. I'll be rooting from the sideline. I'll be in the Twitch chat. That's about it for me. Follow me at the Kubi. Gilly.
Well, thank you guys for having me on. It was a lot of fun. Kubi will miss you this weekend, but I'm excited to see you, Zoya, and Jake. And make sure you guys are watching. If you want to know how to support heroes, watch it. Support the teams, tweet them, follow them, and make sure you're tweeting heroes too to let them know how you're loving the games. And you guys can follow me on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, all Gillyweed SC2. More fun things coming soon.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Gilly. Looking forward to seeing you this weekend, the two of you. Kubi, I see you every day, so nice. I get a break.
I was
Nice.
like, how are we going to follow up with that? Okay.
Yeah, Scott, Divergent Gaming is actually doing a shirt campaign. I asked them to link it in the chat, but I haven't seen it. I permitted them. I don't have the link handy, unfortunately, but just look for Divergent Gaming shirt campaign or just go to divergentgaming.com because it is a good way to support another event within the community. For myself, just solid Jake GG on everything. I am very excited to cast regionals this weekend, live audience or not. I get to see all my favorite heroes, nerds, and it's going to be a ton of fun. And yes, Town Hall Overwatch has indeed begun. We had our second episode today. The VOD and MP3 are already up. That has its own SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/townhalloverwatch if you're interested in hearing discussions about the foundations of that esports community, some of the rule sets that are differentiating as that game is still being figured out as an esport. There's a lot of different styles. ESL running with one hero limit per team for you can't run double Lucio, you can't run double Winston. Other events aren't doing that. So there's some pretty different.
That's the best team.
What? There's some pretty different styles happening
double
in that
Winston
game.
is super good.
And it's very fun. I am not leaving Heroes, guys. I am simply expanding into Overwatch. And I love all of you. GG's. And we'll see you at the North America Regionals this weekend. Peace.
Woo!